Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Danilo Acosta, who is involved with the Focolare Movement. Also, he has some background to do with Saint Bishop Romero, which they've made a movie about him. So welcome to the program, Danilo.
Thanks for having me.
And can you tell us a little bit about your connection with Saint Bishop Romero? It's to do with your father, isn't it?
Yes. And the last few years I've been trying to find out about my history. I'm from El Salvador. We come from generational family of growing coffee.
Yeah.
But because of the war back in the 80s, we were forced to leave the country to Costa Rica and then to Australia.
Yeah.
So I did some. I've been investigating my background, my history, and it turns out that a lot of it has to do with Archbishop Romero, who has recently been canonized a saint.
Yes.
And so basically, back in the 1980s, we lived in an inactive volcano called Wasapa, and we were just simple farmers growing coffee. Unfortunately, because of the civil war in the 80s, we had to flee the country to Costa Rica. Now, I left with all my brothers and sisters, but not my dad. You know, he stayed behind, and I always wondered why my dad had to stay behind. And I spoke to my uncles, my brothers, and I started documenting his life, and it was quite interesting. Back in the 80s, my dad was a coffee grower, but he was a very outspoken person. He demanded just basic rights for farmers, like for coffees and fertilizers and all that. Back then it was not. It was not. You were not allowed to speak about these things.
You weren't allowed to speak up for your rights.
That's right. Yeah. So he was kind of branded a troublemaker.
Yeah.
And so basically at one point, as the war progressed and things got more serious, the army was ordered to capture my dad. At this stage, I would have been very young. But some of the hits, but I found out that in 1979, the army sent a group of soldiers to try to capture my dad. They came at 4 a.m.
Wow.
And 4 a.m. in the pitch of darkness, we had some dogs that we had.
Do you remember any of this as a child?
I would have been 1 year old.
You would have been 1 year old. Oh, okay. So I can't remember.
But this is part of digging part of my history, which I thought it was interesting. Lucky we had some dogs that were able to wake us up. Yeah. Including my dad at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And my dad just took off.
He ran away
to the mountains.
Yeah.
At pitch black.
Yeah.
So he was a wanted person.
Yeah.
So back then we had Archbishop Romero. He was the Archbishop of San Salvador.
Yeah.
Now I think my uncle, his name is Francisco Acosta. He was heavily involved in the Catholic in the church.
Yeah.
And he knew like a nuns and some priest, and through the grace of God, he asked him whether he could have a chat with Archbishop Romero. And so my uncle went up to Archbishop Romero and said, "Look, Archbishop Romero, look, I mean, my brother, which is my dad, it's in trouble. You know, he's persecuted by the government, and he needs help. And Archbishop Romero said something very meaningful. He said, "Look, it's not up to me to judge your father. God will do it. God is the one who will decide. I would help him in the best that I can." So he gave him through Archbishop's connections. Gave my dad 3 weeks of protection in the city of San Salvador through a priest who is now the Archbishop of San Salvador. During those 3 weeks, my dad was able to contact the embassy of Mexico, and he got political asylum in Mexico.
Right.
And where he stayed for 10 years.
Gee.
And during that time, we left to Costa Rica. So I never really got to know my dad. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, as time went by, in '92, El Salvador signed peace accords, amnesties. So he was able to come back and resume his farming career. But I was always left with the impression that he left us
He abandoned you.
And as it turns out, it was more than that.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And now I've also heard about stories of Romero helping. He's now regarded as the saint of the poor.
Yeah.
The voice of the voiceless.
Wow.
And he not only helped my dad, but he helped
so many others.
Many people.
Yeah.
And he's a very simple man.
We have to go to a break now, but we'll continue with this.
Okay.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. We're here with Danilo Acosta, if you've just joined us, and he's talking about his contacts with Saint Bishop Romero. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
So with Saint Bishop Romero, you were telling us his story. It's quite intense, with your father who escaped El Salvador, went to Mexico, and you didn't explain how he managed to escape. So let us go through that.
Yes, that's an interesting story too, because even though there was a civil war, it was not a full-blown war at the time, but the only people that were not persecuted at the time were religious figures, especially the Catholic Church. Yeah. The government still had a lot of respect for the members of the church. So Romero made an unprecedented and unorthodox move by helping my dad escape to Mexico. I've been told by dressing him as a priest. Yeah. And they put him in a pickup truck, and I think with my uncle, and they drove him all the way to the border of El Salvador and I think Guatemala or Mexico, in order for him to receive political asylum. Yeah. So that itself was very.
So he saved his life.
It saved his life. By doing that. Yeah. But look, as I learn more about Romero, I find things that really amazed me. Like he was a very simple man. He even though he was given a beautiful place to live as an archbishop, he always chose to live with the simple people. And he was always he tells that he was always happy along with this with the poor and the simple things in life. Yeah. And he always stayed he always saw the church in the people, in the struggle, in what we call in the Focolare the Jesus forsaken, where you see the suffering and be one with them, and that's what he believed in. Unfortunately, as the war progressed, things got more difficult. It became a full-blown war, and there was a lot of killing and disappearances, including of members of the Catholic Church. And with Ramiro, his best friend was Otilio Grande, a priest, and he was murdered along with other 5 priests. And I think that was a turning point for Ramiro, where he could no longer stay silent. So he basically spoke the truth. He said that no man, no soldier, or any other person should obey any command that except for God's law, which says that you should not kill. So he was very a rational person. He was only basically applying the gospel and God's and Jesus and God's teachings in the midst of a brutal war. Unfortunately, that was considered to be controversial at the time, because you were not supposed to speak against anything that resembled like a troublemaker. So through my investigations, I found that Ramiro did reach out to the Vatican for help, but at the time, even at that point, it was the Vatican were not sure whether they could help him, because it was a very it was political at the time. So Ramiro went back to El Salvador and did his best to speak up where he needed to, and he supported. He was the voice of the voiceless in El Salvador. But again, as the war progressed, he became a bit more outspoken in terms of that. He even was saying that that we should not be killing our fellow brothers, and that there shouldn't be any classes between rich and poor. That there should be one. So there should be some reforms, that also some that everyone, even God tells you that we are entitled to have basic bread, basic water. So these are things were considered needs, controversial at the time, but he was basically speaking the truth
to the people who didn't have anything.
Exactly.
Just saying that this earth is for everybody to enjoy. You can't just have a whole lot of people just being greedy. It's got to be. God made the earth for everybody, with all the fruits and fields of nature. Fruits here. Absolutely.
And that's practically his message, is that Jesus came to us, but it also says that we should also have we should be respectful, and we should be entitled to basic needs. And that's part of the teachings of God and the church. And at the time, I think now, so moving on, it became too controversial to the point that he was assassinated while preaching. A single bullet was sent.
Bishop Ramiro.
While preaching, because they found that he was becoming too controversial. But it's interesting because and that really led to a wider conflict, because everybody. He was the only hope they had. So moving forward to the peace accords, all that was documented, and there was reconciliation between all members of the war. But it was only recently that they decided to canonize Romero as a martyr, like martyr.
Martyrdom,
And
saint,
but there's also some evidence.
We might have to hold it just there, the evidence. We'll do that when we get back. We've got to go to a break. You're watching Spirit of Life. I hope you're enjoying the program. We'll see you again very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Danilo Acosta and he's talking about his connections, family connections with Saint Bishop Romero. And it's quite extraordinary because it's with his father. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, thank you.
So then you were saying there's evidence, the last word you left us with?
I think the last 10 or so years, through the process of canonization, they're trying to work out, they're trying to work out whether there were miracles or they can make him a saint through martyrdom, which they did. But they also when I think one of the Son John II came to El Salvador, I think they also found remains of the items that he had when he was shot, including some of the blood, and it appears that some of the blood is still fresh, and so I recall that also that got taken also to the Vatican, and they put all his testimonies and his accounts. And at the end, he was determined that he qualified as a saint, and now he's regarded as the saint of the poor in El Salvador, and it's a big sign of hope for us, especially now in El Salvador. It's a people that have suffered a lot, and is now going through a renaissance. People are now feel safe in the country. There's a sense that El Salvador has a lot of hope, and that all stems from the work of Saint Romero. He and also it's a symbol of courage. Because sometimes it's important to speak out when you know what's right. When you know what's right, and there are people that don't have the voice. So especially, and it's more relevant now than any before. I think that's one of the teachings of the church is that you gotta stay consistent with your beliefs, and the rest is not as important, we can make laws, but there's only one law, and that's God's law. And if we stay consistent with the truth, it leads to good outcomes. That's right. And I think that is the message that I got from Saint Romero. Oh, so beautiful. That's so amazing. It's amazing that the connection, the family connection, your uncle actually spoke to Saint Romero and got him to help your father. Yes. That's amazing. And so what led you onto this path? You felt like you were a bit abandoned by your father and you wanted to find out what happened. Yeah, so I find that sometimes in life, you go through adversity. I feel like sometimes unfortunately my mom and dad passed away about 5 years ago in the same year. And that really, I think, led to like a spiritual crisis. On top of that, I worked as a medical scientist for about 20 years. And I was facing the prospect of losing my job. Wow. And on top of that, because of my work was highly stressful, I think it also led to some health issues. So all that came at once. And I felt that it was unfair. And I started to question my belief in God, and I started blaming God for a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And I guess I went through, I guess, a crisis, or
Yeah.
in the movement that I'm in, the Focolare, we
Focolare.
call it
Jesus forsaken.
Jesus or the cross. A cross, you know, is that the cross that I'm. So because I was a medical scientist, I found that I didn't need God. I felt that I could solve everything through science, through medicine, through literature. Because I had access to the best medical journals. I had access to very good healthcare professionals, and I go, I can, you know. And things did get better for me, but there was something missing. There was a big hole that was missing, and I, as I went on, I realized that what was missing was God. There is a passage that I found very relevant to me, and he says something along the lines that the mind it's Satan's lawyer, and the heart is God's servant. So I felt like I was thinking for the last 15 or 20 years, I was thinking with my mind, overanalyzing things, applying science, medicine, but there were things that are metaphysical. There are things that are beyond the science.
Yeah.
And so I began to, something that I know for sure is that I gave up on God, but God never gave up on me. He always sent me the right people. I call them angels. That sent me to the right person at the time.
Yeah.
And so it became so much that I had to learn to surrender.
Yeah.
And accept myself.
Yeah.
And I think that was the message that God was sending me.
Yeah.
So the last 3 or 4 years I've been in that journey.
Yeah.
And one of the journeys that he sent me is, for example, he sent me to like a men's group, for example.
Beautiful, yeah.
And where I met very beautiful people.
Yeah.
Often men in general, sometimes we don't get the right help, and I just felt like this place gave me some support.
Oh, it's so beautiful. We might have to finish there, but would you like to come back on the show and we'll continue with this story?
For sure, yeah.
That would be lovely. Thank you, Danilo.
Thank you.
You've been watching Spirit of Life. I hope you enjoyed the program. Our guest was Danilo Acosta, and I'm Mirella Rich, and may you always feel God's guidance in your life. Bye for now.